I'll introduce myself. My name is Doug Sessions. I'm the Senior Vice President for Training at NeighborWorks America. And we're excited about our new partnership with the Carsey School of Public Policy at the University of New Hampshire. And especially excited about the benefits it will bring to our learners, as well as the NeighborWorks network and NeighborWorks staff. I'll turn it over to the Carsey team in a minute or two, but wanted to quickly cover just a few things first. Next slide, Michael. For those of you who are unfamiliar with NeighborWorks, I encourage you to visit neighborworks.org/training and explore our comprehensive training offerings for community serving professionals. NeighborWorks Training Division offers so much great training, a very broad and a very deep set of courses specifically focused on what community serving organizations need most. There are courses for all levels of experience, and the courses are taught in a variety of in-person and online formats. In addition to the courses themselves, we offer national and local events that package our courses with peer learning and networking. Our NeighborWorks training institutes and our place-based training offerings are what we call those events. Just in case anyone on this webinar is new to the network, I wanted to recap NeighborWorks training benefit for our network organizations, as we've made a few changes in recent years. For organizations and people who are Carsey students but not affiliated with our network, NeighborWorks is offering a 10% tuition discount for up to 10 learners on an unlimited number of courses. For NeighborWorks network organizations, Carsey is offering a substantial benefit that I'll let them discuss. But before I hand it off to them, just a reminder that we provide our network a 30% discount, free lodging at NeighborWorks Training Institutes, and a flexible training grant that covers travel and or registration to each of our network organizations. And little commercial here, the San Francisco National NeighborWorks Training Institute in May is open for registration right now. So please take advantage of this benefit and register to join us. We have had an overwhelming response in the first week of registration already. So if you're interested, I would really encourage you to register right away. Next slide, Michael. So whether we are growing or updating our stable of courses, enhancing our events, or adding to our training options, our goal is always to add value for you. Developing this partnership with Carsey is a perfect example of our new strategy for training here at NeighborWorks America, to bring you additional, really innovative learning opportunities. And final slide, my final thoughts here. Basically, we want to add to your training choices with quality offerings to maximize your impact for your organizations, as well as to enhance the personal career-related benefits to you. I'm now going to invite Michael Swack from Carsey to tell you about the very rich benefits of this partnership.
Thanks, Doug. I appreciate it. And welcome to the webinar. I'm going to talk for about 20 minutes to go over all aspects of the program, the structure of the program, the curriculum, financial aid, a little bit about our alums, and encourage you, if you have any questions, to please type them into the chat. My colleague, Robin Husslage, is also on the line. She'll be following questions in the chat, and she'll let me know what those questions are. So feel free to type in a question anytime, and I will stop from time to time in going through this 20-minute presentation. So we'll be talking today about the online master's program in community development. a program that we've been running for a number of years now that's designed for adult practitioners. The program, as of 3 years ago, is now entirely online. Before that, it was online for a portion of it, the major portion of it, but it's now, with COVID, completely online. But I say online, it's a cohort model, number one, meaning you start and end the program pretty much with the same people. The idea is you get to know those people, you go through courses with them, you have small group meetings with them. So it has the advantages of being connected. The cohort model, we think, is really important in terms of the educational process because it gives you the advantage of building relationships over time. And that's one of the things that our alums talk about a lot is the friends they made, the colleagues they've made, and how they stay connected over time. The courses are also both synchronous and asynchronous. They're primarily asynchronous, meaning you do the work on your own, but most of the courses also have a time when everybody gets together on Zoom and meets. So typically a course will meet once a week for an hour or 90 minutes, or once every 2 weeks, depending on the course itself. So there is face time as well as the time that you work asynchronously, where you may be doing reading, responding in group chats, and engaging in small groups with your colleagues in the course. The Master's in Community Development is one of the 4 programs now. I almost slipped, Robin, and said 3. We now have a new one that's part of our Carsey school. And we additionally have Masters of Public Administration, Public Policy, and a Master of Global Conflict and Human Security as part of the academic programs offered by the Carsey School. The Master's in Community Development, like I said, is online using the cohort model. And the courses are really organized around this idea of a capstone project, which also is 4 courses in the program. I'll talk about that in just a minute. But the capstone project is core to the program because it's something you decide and something you do in your own community, often through your own workplace. That is, you can design a project, and I'll talk more about what those are, that is through your workplace. So you can develop a training program or a housing program or a community health program or a small business a type of a lending program or a technical assistance program. You can develop a program as part of your project in the program itself. And you go through a series of courses where you're carrying out that project while doing course assignments related to that project as well. In addition to the capstone, there are a set of core courses that everybody takes in management, finance, public policy, and community economic development. And then, as you'll see, there are a range of elective courses you can take as well. I would say it's a very practically oriented program, very skill-oriented program. So here you see the list of core courses that are required. What I talked about before is the project we call the experiential project learning. Those are 4 courses because you're actually carrying out the project and doing analysis. That's a course that also meets on a weekly basis online, where you meet with your instructors and others, and people talk about project in the courses, the work they've done, and where they're headed, and problems that come up, as they inevitably do when you're working on projects. And then you would take a series of electives. These are just some of the ones that we have available. So you can see in the overall program, there are 12 required courses, the 5 core, the 4 experiential learning, and 3 electives of your choice. The capstone project is broken into 4 segments, as you'll see here. The introduction, where you develop and figure out what your project is going to be. You know, one of the questions we frequently get is, what if I don't have a project already? Do I need to have one before I start the program? And the answer is no. Most people don't, actually. Most people have an idea of what they might want to do, but really that first term in the program is spent thinking about and narrowing down, because people always come in with a project idea first that's way too large. It's like, I'm going to solve poverty in the United States. And we say, well, can you make it a little bit smaller than that? And so we narrow down, and that first term is figuring out and developing the project plan. then the project design, the implementation, and finally an evaluation component. So you develop it. Now, you also might be thinking, well, what, we actually do a whole project in the program and it coincides with the beginning and the end of the program? Well, of course, not exactly. Life doesn't work that way, but you do go through these sequences. So you develop an evaluation plan for your project, even though you might not actually be carrying out that evaluation for some period of time after. So this gives you a sense in the project design phase, what are you going to do to carry out the project? How will you collect information? How will you develop a monitoring plan? And so you actually develop a written plan for the project. These are some of the components as you're developing your project plan that you'll carry out. Some of you may be familiar with the logic model. We do use the logic model framework, where you start with what are the outcomes you're trying to achieve, and then you work backwards to what are the outputs, then what are the actions that you actually take, and who's carrying out those actions. So we do use the logic model as a way of carrying out your project. See the activities in the logic model here, the inputs, the activities, outputs, and outcomes. Again, the project evaluation component, where you develop a framework for evaluating and from the very beginning collecting data that will help you do an evaluation of your project in the end. So Robin, I'm going to stop here for a minute because I think there are a few questions in the chat. Anything that's come up? Yeah.
Yes, Michael. Let me just read it here. The question is, I have an MPA with a concentration in nonprofit management. Would some of my coursework transfer?
Yeah, Robin, you probably better answer that question than I do, because I always forget the exact details. But we can transfer up to 6 credits, but they have to have been taken in what, the last 3 years? Is that right?
Yep. Pretty much if you have already taken those courses and obtained a degree, then you can't use them. It's if you took courses and then decided that wasn't, like the program for you, then we can accept 2 courses. I think it's up to 8 credits outside of the university, into the program that would count as electives in the Master in Community Development program.
Right. So if you started a program but didn't finish it at the graduate level, you have the ability in most cases to transfer those credits. Right.
Yes.
Any other questions?
Yes. Let's see. During the online courses, are there live online sessions, or is it all self-paced?
Yeah, so there's both. Most of the courses have online sessions where you might meet on a weekly or every other week basis over the course of a term. These are usually 60 to 90-minute sessions, and they'll tend to focus on discussions of typical issues or cases where there can be some interaction. So most of the courses do have an online component of 60 to 90 minutes, either every week or every other week.
Great. That's all the questions I'm seeing right now, Michael.
Okay, good. So let's talk a little bit about the credits. It's a 36 credit program. As you saw from the previous slide, that's 12 courses. 9 of them are the experiential or the core required courses with 3 electives. And as I mentioned, many people partner with their employer in developing their project, their capstone project in particular. You work very closely with faculty advisors in carrying out your project. A couple of people you'll learn to love. It's really the strength of the program is in the projects that you carry out and the advisors that you work with in doing that. And also we help in post-graduation career support. A lot of people who start the program are experienced. One of the great values of the program is the diversity in every sense of the word. Just you look at age diversity, for example, we have people from their mid-20s to their often mid-50s or even more. So you have people who come in with 30 years of experience, perhaps, but are looking to build their skills more in doing that, and people who are relatively new to the field. But it's a great mix of people from all over the country and all sorts of experience levels. And again, that the cohort is a real strength. The way it's laid out is there are 8-week E-terms. So you would take at least one course. Well, some people will skip a term, but what it gives you is the flexibility to take as little as one course at a time or more if you can. Most people take 1 or 2 courses each term. Each term lasts 8 weeks. A lot of people find it easy to take 1 course a term. That'll fit into their life more easily, although a number will take 2. You see on the schedule laid out here, E-term 1, which starts mid to end of August through early October. And you see this is a sample schedule. So if you were to take 2 courses a term, for example, or 2 courses in the fall, spring, and next fall terms, summer term, there's 1 required course, and there's also electives that are offered in the summer. But someone can graduate in as little as 14 months. And often people take longer, depending on how many courses they take at one time. So it's not unusual that someone will take 18 months to finish the program as opposed to 14 months going 2 additional terms. So there's flexibility to take fewer courses if that's what fits in your schedule, or to take more if you have an opening to be able to take more. But typically people graduate in 14 to 18 months. The application requirement, we encourage people, the cohort that starts at the end of, we start a cohort at the end of August. Occasionally people start earlier. We'll start in an earlier term. Often people say, well, can I take a course to see what it's like before I just fully jump in? And so we often see people take a course in the spring term, maybe a financial management course, for example, just to see what it's like to take a course online if you haven't taken a full academic course online. But most of the people tend to start in the August term, the fall term, and that's when we have the largest group of a cohort that starts the program. The application deadline for that is July 15th, although we encourage people to apply earlier if they can. We encourage people to apply by the beginning of June. Also, it helps us facilitate financial aid, which I'll get to in just a minute. The application requirements are bachelor's degree, the transcripts, 3 letters of reference. We do not require the GREs, for example. So just what you see here in front of you. The personal statement also, and your resume. For international applicants, the TOEFL is not required if you studied your undergraduate degree in English. That is, if you've studied in English before, you don't need to take the TOEFL. Here's the cost of the program. This is before any of the tuition that NeighborWorks Awards and the NeighborWorks Awards, which we match. So if you look at the tuition and the NeighborWorks Awards and our awards, typically that's that amount minus $10,000 right off. There are also instances where we give larger tuition scholarship awards, and we also have access for those who need it to the federal loan programs through University of New Hampshire. And at the bottom, you see some of the other organizations besides NeighborWorks where we have partnership agreements, and you may have fellow students who are from those organizations or members of those organizations. Just a little bit of information about the capstone projects. We often have international students in the program as well. Just a few of our recent graduates and the work they're doing. Again, we get people from really all lines of community development related work, affordable housing, people from CDFIs, nonprofit organizations, community health organizations, people working in policy, project management, fundraising. So really a pretty wide range of graduates in terms of the work as well as geographically where they come from. So I'm going to stop again here, Robin, and see if there are other questions.
Let me check. Got Q&A and questions. Yes, we have a
Anything I
couple.
missed? right.
Do most students start in the fall or the spring?
Yeah, most students start in the fall. That's what we encourage. We do have students who will start in the spring, but it's most typically, if they start in the spring, it'll be to take a course, to test it out, or take a course so that they don't have to take it the following year. So we do see some students who will start with a course in the spring, but the vast majority in the fall.
Great. Another question related to taking 2 courses per term. How much time does it take to do my classwork? And then a follow-on question, is it difficult to juggle work, school, and personal life?
Well, the answer to the last one is it certainly is. I think for everybody. I mean, Robin, you might respond to that because you're a graduate of the program and you had to juggle all of the above.
Yes, no, that's true. I would say I spent probably 10 to 15 hours per week on my, classwork, outside of with the, the online portion, and then the actual work, the homework, the discussion groups, the projects, often there's group projects that you need to do. It is challenging, but you just build it into your schedule. Also, the nice thing about the Master in Community Development program is that it is built so that it's very flexible. So if you need to lighten your load during one semester, you can do that, and just catch up in another semester. So it is structured so that for working professionals, so that you can take the time you need if you need to lighten your load a little bit, and then just add a course back, extend your term, or add a course back during another term that you're taking. And I think those are the only 2 questions right now.
Okay, well, let me close by first of all, thanking you for attending today. We hope you're interested in the program and encourage you to follow up with any one of us at the email addresses here. We really welcome NeighborWorks students. Doug, I have to tell you that our NeighborWorks students that we've had in the past have been some of our best students, for sure. I mean, they come really prepared and really connected to the work. So I'd encourage if you're interested to be in touch with us or to begin an application to the program, and we'd be happy to work with you on the application as well as helping you think through the financial aid and how you would afford and finance the program as well. Doug, do you want a last word?
I just want to express my appreciation also to everybody who attended, to both of you for joining me this afternoon, and just say how proud NeighborWorks America is to be partnering with such a prestigious partner as Carsey School of Public Policy. So thanks for the opportunity as well.